Hey everybody, and welcome back to Team Mattymon. This is my video on the top 5 albums of 2016. My top 5 albums, I found it really difficult to actually put them from 5 to 1. So I'm actually just going to be listing them in alphabetical order based on the album title. And I know that's kind of cheating and everyone's like, that's kind of like copping out. But I mean, they're all great albums and they were all great when they came out. I listened to a lot of them, like many times, and I still listen to them once in a while. So I figured, you know what, like there isn't like a all-time favorite album for me with these top 5, so I'll just list them anyways, and I guess you can agree with me, or whatever. So the first album of my top 5 would be DNCE's new album, DNCE. Now this album is all dance music, and actually if you get to the end of this video, you'll notice that I think a lot of the music that I listened to this year was a lot of dance music. I really like DNCE. This is Joe Jonas's new group. They had released a single earlier in the year called Cake by the Ocean, and I listened to that and I was like, this is a great track. I really hope that the rest of the album is pretty good. And yeah, it was pretty good. I think Cake by the Ocean is still a really good song on the album, but for me, I personally really like the track Dr. You. Let me know what you guys think about the album as we move on to the second album. So the second album that made it on my top 5 list would be GTA's Good Times Ahead. This album is also dance music, but I really enjoyed it. So I don't even know how I actually got onto this album. I think honestly I was just looking through iTunes trying to find more types of dance music that was more funk inspired, and GTA's album isn't all funk inspired. Actually it's a kaleidoscope of different types of dance music, but I really enjoyed it as a whole. It was really fun to listen to, and I would say give it a shot. It's not just one type of dance music, like I said, so you might not like all of the tracks, but overall as a whole the album really holds itself up. I would say if I had to choose a couple of tracks that I really enjoyed from this album, I would say one would be A Little Bit of This. That one was really fun. I really love the rapping. It kind of reminds me a little bit of will.i.am, so it was kind of familiar ground, but it had a really nice kind of like tribal beat to it, which made it really fun. Another track that I enjoyed from this album would be actually the first track, called True Romance, and it was just nice. It was very kind of like, I don't know, loungy music that I would hear like, you know, sitting in like a really kind of swanky wine bar or a whiskey bar, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of nice. I really enjoyed that. Alright, numero 3 would be Alicia Keys' newest album, which was released in November, called Here, H-E-R-E. The album is a kind of a continuation on her search for her R&B and soul sound, and I really enjoyed this album. I was really scared because Girl on Fire was not an album I really enjoyed. It actually was quite a disappointment for me. I didn't really like the overall feel of the album, and the main song, Girl on Fire, I kind of found annoying. I think maybe because they kind of overplayed it on the radio. If I had to choose a couple of tracks on this album that I really enjoyed, I would say Pawn It All is a really good one. I think like if you want to, you can start with that. The album is actually created so you're supposed to start from the very beginning to end, like one time through. So it's more of like a journey through kind of like the soundscape of the album, but Pawn It All is a really good track on the album. Another one would be The Illusion of Bliss. I like it a lot. In fact, actually, I like most of the tracks on this album because the lyrics are really awesome. I'm a sucker for lyrics. I also really enjoy the melodies and the harmonies of everything, but I really get like super excited about great lyrics, and I think this album really kind of delivers on that end. So really give it a shot. I think this album is a major hit for Miss Keys. So congratulations, Alicia. This was amazing. The fourth album that I really enjoyed this year is Radiohead's newest album, A Moon-Shaped Pool. Now for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Radiohead fan, and I really like this album. This album released in the summertime, and it was just like the perfect time for it, because I remember listening to it constantly. I remember the first time I bought the album and I put it on, I just sat down and I just not really zoned, but I just stopped what I was doing and I just kind of like went through the entire album, and it finished and I was like, wow, this this is a great album. And this is one of those albums, kind of like Alicia Keys' album, where you need to listen to it from the very beginning to end, at least once times through. I mean, like, I feel like you can maybe skip around later, but really give it just one listen to, where you're not doing anything and you're not fidgeting or whatever. Just like sit and listen and just really enjoy the music. I think if I had to pick 2 tracks on this album, which is kind of what I've been doing rather than a couple, just 2, which is fine. I would say Burn the Witch, which is the first track, is really, really good. The second one that I would enjoy is actually the second track on the album, which is Daydreaming. Same with, I guess, the Alicia Keys thing. They really deliver on a really beautiful soundscape, but really most importantly, the lyrics. I really love the lyrics of this album. And like I said, it was the perfect time to listen to it because I really needed some kind of like reflective type of like self-searching kind of just chill music, and this album was awesome. And the last album on my top 5 this year would be Panic at the Disco's album, Death of a Bachelor. This album is amazing, and I'm actually a relatively new lover of Panic at the Disco, so, you know, hashtag new fan, but I really love this album. I don't have a lot of knowledge of their old music, so I can't really compare this with other stuff, but I really liked it overall. It was super fun, and this was really early in the year, and I was looking for new music, and I listened to this album, and I was like, yes, this is great. I mean, the vocals are amazing, and there was just a lot of kind of like just raw energy. It was loud, it was in your face, it was aggressive, and I really enjoyed it. I would say if I had to pick some tracks on this, Victorious is a really, really good track. I believe it's the first track on this album. Another track that's really good is Death of a Bachelor, which is the name of the album. Great track. Very, very different. Victorious is very kind of like a pump-up jam. Death of a Bachelor, I really like the lyrics, and I mean the vocals, just, oh man, the vocals. I loved LA Devotee. I really loved Crazy Equals Genius. I don't know, I feel like, is this my favorite album? Like, save the best for last? I loved every track on this album. Maybe it's because I listened to this way more than all the other albums, especially Alicia Keys, because she was in November. But man, everything about this album was so much fun. I remember running to it, going to the gym with it. Yeah, it was a good album. Yeah, maybe this is my favorite album. I don't know. So those were my 5 top albums of 2016. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment if you've listened to these albums, if you agree, if you disagree. Please also post your albums, your favorite albums of this year. And if you haven't listened to any of these albums or some of these albums, I really invite you to give them a shot. It's really, really fun. And obviously I get it, it's really based on your taste of music, but I think they're pretty, like, they're diamonds in the rough. I think they're amazing. I'm sure they're on Spotify. I myself buy all my music on iTunes, but give them a shot and let me know. I would love to hear from you. And I guess, you know what? Until the end of next year, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around soon.